Good evening, viewers. It's a lovely Tuesday, and we are back again with an exciting episode of Let's Talk Politics. And as usual, I have my co-host Himba, who is going to help us as we get into tonight's discussion. Himba,
Good evening, CJ, and
we
good
missed
evening,
you,
viewers.
and welcome back.
Thank you so much, CJ. I'm glad I'm back. I missed you, and I missed our viewers out there. Hope today we are going to have an exciting program.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. And on the panel, we have Comrade Dennis Nondo. Good evening, Comrade Nondo.
Good evening, CJ. Good evening, Madam Himba, and good evening to all our viewers.
Good evening, Comrade Nondo, and it's nice to
Thank,
see you after a long time.
Thank you so very much. I'm so humbled and I'm so grateful.
We
thank you. Also joining us is Mukelebai. Welcome to Ubuntu channel. Good evening, Mukelebai.
Good evening, CJ. Good evening, Himba. Good evening, Comrade Nondo. And good evening, viewers.
Good evening, Mukelebai, and it's nice to see you.
Thank you.
Good to see you too.
Well, viewers, this is Let's Talk Politics, and we talk about different political issues affecting our nation. And it is an open discussion. We allow you to come in and make your submissions on the topic of discussion. Remember, we are accepting civilized, mature, and fact-based contributions even as we debate. We do not allow any form of character assassination, any inflammatory remarks, anything that would demean any person on the panel or any other person. We are here to discuss issues and raise issue-based politics. Tonight, we are looking at the Millie situation in our country. Himba, kaunga kavuta. Huh? There's been a shortage, or there is a shortage in some of the country, and everyone manje pakaile kaunga nkani ya kaunga we survive padi kansima. Himba, your take.
Thank you so much, CJ. And before we go any further, I would love us really to elaborate a little bit and explain when we talk about Millie, what are we talking about here? And why are we so concerned? When we are talking about Millie, especially in our country, Millie is our staple food. And for me, I take it that this commodity, it should be a commodity that every Zambian, despite their status in society, they should be able to access it. This is, in Zambia, if you don't have Millie, it's like you are starving the family. This is what really most Zambians we survive on. This is as I said, it's our staple food, and staple food is something that makes us to survive, something we depend on, something we can't live on. So having said that, this is a commodity that the government leaders, the politician, should make sure that every Zambian, despite of their status, their race, who they are, as long as they are Zambian, they should be able to accommodate so that every family should have at least 3 basic meals in each and every family. CJ, over to you.
Wow, kaunga, very important, and matters of security are something else. So to get started, we are going to have introductions, and I'll allow Comrade Nondo to give us his introduction, citing background towards this milli-meal crisis or milli-meal shortage has been going on. Comrade Nondo, the floor is.
Thank you very much, CJ. It's so sad that today, in this era, with a new government that claims to know it all, we can be discussing about the shortage of Millie. Bwalya Nondo is my name. I'm coming from the Patriotic Front. And I'm so saddened that at a time when the nation is expecting to have quality leadership, we can be having these kind of conversations about, basic needs like Millie meal. Like my sister Himba has put it to say, regardless of your status in society, everyone must have access to this basic need. You may not have clothes, you may not have these other basic things, but Millie meal is a must. And the reason why I'm saying we are so disappointed as Patriotic Front is because Zambia, of all nations in Africa, should not be experiencing this thing of shortage of Millie meal. The reason being, we are a country of a size of about 752,000 square kilometers. Anywhere, in all the directions of our country, everywhere you step, you are stepping on a very fertile land that can accommodate any kind of crop, especially maize. Now, for the past 10 years, Zambia has been recording bumper harvest in terms of corn. For those that might not know, that maize is the corn where we actually extract the Millie meal that we are talking about. And in 2021, prior to the general elections, this country recorded the ever bumper harvest that, this country never recorded in the history of our independence. And there comes, ladies and gentlemen, that claims to be wise, that claims to be very, very educated, that claims to understand how to manage national management, and went into parliament through the Minister of Agriculture, Maimbuya Bamutolo. Is an embarrassment. He goes into parliament and boasting to say, we have plenty of maize. There's no reason for us to keep this maize. We are going to be exporting. We are going to export because we have enough. And then today, with
Okay, we seem to have lost Comrade Nondo. Mr. Chama, Ubuntu channel evening.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm just gathering my thoughts to what the other colleague was just saying from the Patriotic Front. So it was, it's interesting, but yes, when you, personally, I remember when I was young.
Okay, before you dive in, Mr. Chama, sorry to cut you. We can see Comrade Nondo is back, so he has got a minute, I think, a minute and 20 seconds just to conclude. Comrade Nondo, please conclude your introductory submission.
Thank you very much for welcoming me back. I was about to conclude and I was making a statement to say, you see, as a leader in government or as a representative of the people, when, number one, when you err, be ready to apologize. When you make a mistake, admit. And when you are stuck, you need to seek for help. But the predicament
Thank you so much. It looks like we've lost Comrade Nondo. Maybe we continue with Comrade Chama. Please continue from where you almost started. Please come through. Over to you, Comrade. Kankani kaunga kanjala ati muchibemba batila mulende ati muindolesha pamenso mulembona pamala so abena Zambia ati tumoneni pamala mwentungulushi pamala kumtumone.
Well, as for me, I remember, as I was saying, basically, I'm for MMD. Let's just make it straight. That's the political party I thought to join after UNIP. I remember when we were kids, people queuing up, and even the time for Kaunda, when the meal was high, the price was high, there was some help. There were some things which were called coupons. People used to have coupons to go and buy meal. Yes, things were difficult then as well, but there was a bit of help. And I don't remember that we were even exporting meal then. So let's fast forward to now. You know, when I hear the statements in the beginning, when one of the ministers, I think if I'm not mistaken, they said we've got enough maize to feed the country. Hooray! That was for me, I was happy to hear that. But I was disappointed the prices were still going up of a stable food. It's not like it's a luxury, because let's be realistic. Rice, we say it's a luxury when we are in Zambia. If we have 5 fingers, because I remember lunch supper in Zensim, lokomanja in a lunch supper in Zim. So when you think of that, that's a staple food, and the price is high. And then you look at the other hand, and then you hear the minister is telling you that, oh, we now be importing, no, first it was exporting maize and meal or whatever, we'll be exporting. Now, how do you export when you yourself, you are starving? Let's be realistic, because this instance is different to the export of electricity. The export of electricity, yes, you are dealing with a country whereby it was a country by country sitting and agreeing. That's a different contract. But this export of maize or meal to other countries, it's up to the government. It's not. It's totally different to the other one. When you look at things, let's be realistic. You know, because at the moment, if they insist on keeping on exporting, there's no help, because there are some people you find, even here, there are some areas that you can't even buy meal for almost £300 kwacha. In some areas, I'm not saying all the areas. I know the other highest I've heard, it's almost 180 kwacha. Basically, I've heard between 180 and 300. Between those, somebody will be charged between those prices at the moment. Why? And then you are busy exporting. Now you want to import, because if you start importing, definitely the price will even go higher. If I can be a bit cynical, I would say they are cranking up the numbers so that they can be saying that we are importing when it's the same maize which is seated there. Then they come and tell us that it's imported. Are you going to argue the point? No, because they told you that you will be exporting and importing. You won't argue the point. You know, let's be straight with the government. In my conclusion, what I would advise the government is they should sack the agriculture minister. That's my opinion. including the commerce minister as well. They all have to be sacked because they're not doing their jobs. If they were doing their jobs, the Millie meal prices will be low. We won't be importing anything. Maybe we might be exporting because too many something everywhere. And I'll leave it there, but I still had a lot of things to say. I'll just leave it there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chama. We greatly appreciate your submissions. Right about now, Mukelebai, give us your introduction.
Well, shortages of Millie meal in Zambia is not a new phenomenon, and I think every Zambian can attest to this. In all these governments that have been in power, they've had experienced a period when there has been a shortage of Millie meal. We in Zambia, we know very well that aspect, and we have always been finding solutions. So I'm very positive that this current government will find a solution to this, and it will be the thing of the past. The way we have put load shedding to the past, the way we have been dealing with all these challenges that we have been facing to be manageable. So I believe that as a country, we are going to find a solution. It is just a pity that certain individuals, they are finding this as an interesting and use it as a weapon, and want to blame this new government that has only been in office for 1 year, 7 months. Right now, the maize that we are busy talking about or boasting about to say that was left in 2021 or 2020, that is still in our reserves. It is the maize that was preserved to mitigate these few shortcomings. And there has been a lot of maize, yes. And there has been no place to keep some of this maize that was so much in stock. Some of the maize were just getting destroyed. They were throwing them away. So the best thing the government opted to do was to get rid of this, sell some of the maize, and get money, pay some of the people that the previous government owed, so that they can pave way. We have very soon we'll have another harvest. People have cultivated. Very soon we are going to start harvesting, and and our coffers will be full again. Our basket will be full again. So I don't see any reason why we should dramatize this. We are doing this to ourselves, especially our brothers and sisters in the opposition. They are finding this as an interesting thing, and they are even the ones telling people to smuggle maize or to even manipulate the prices when the government is making efforts. We have seen the efforts that this government has made. But people with bad motives, people who wants to see the failure of this government, are busy also working against. But you are busy forgetting that you are doing this to your own fellow Zambians. The government can only work if everyone is on board. But we seem to be not on board. We are busy throwing stones. So we should be very, very careful as a country. People are smuggling we are talking of, no, we have shortage of Millie meal. Meanwhile, we see trucks, we see people smuggling Millie meal. So is this true that there's shortage of Millie meal? Why are people busy buying Millie meal from Zambia and selling it through illegal means in other countries? Who is not being fair here? Is it the government or it's the people, us, the people? And the opposition, they are busy celebrating when a Zambian is having difficulties to acquire maize meal. So it is a little bit ashamed. We should be ashamed. Be ashamed. Let's support this government. This government is too young. They have not failed. They are on the way to fix problems. And this will be a thing of the past.
Thank you very much, Mukelebai. Great. Here, I think I'll put you on the spot. Get your take on this subject of feeding shortage.
Thank you so much, CJ. For me, this issue of Millie meal shortage in our country, I'm not concerned about, no, they are smuggling, no, batenga, bapereka ku Congo, ku Kasumbalesa. That's not my concern here. My concern is that every Zambian should have 3 basic meals. Elo munyumba muli bana at least 4 basic meals. Luchelo balya breakfast nga ni porridge nembalala, lunch balya akabwali nga muli akabwali nga ni bwali ne fsashi olonga bwali na chibwawa ifyofine ichungu pa 16 balyako nga kano nga futi nika porridge kange ilya twale lyali ntwale abaye pa 16 tenti dia 16 because we used to eat 16 when we were young. We tenti kadia 16 ni twenda kudia porridge, and in the evenings they should have proper at least dinner. So basically, for me, I'm not taking it lightly. For me to be told that we have shortage of Millie meal in our country, I would say literally it's something which we have to work on. It's something which our government leaders need to pull up their swords. But 2, this is not the time people should go to bed on an empty stomach. And it's not just only the shortage of Millie meal. Now, Budula no kudula. If people are smuggling this Millie meal, why can't the government find a way of closing those loopholes? And in an area, import, how do you start importing when your own children tabala ikuta munganda? Then you get a bit of share you give to the children, neighbor. I think for me that's a no. If anything, the government should subsidize so that every Zambian, umwana ulikuwa na kantapa, ulikuwa misisi, uli kukapoto kukitwe, uli ku Zambia compound in Mazabuka, a child should be able to have at least 4 decent meals a day. So the government should see to it that ubunga basange ifyaku protect whichever loopholes atule muna matrack yale pita ukasumbale sale ya kukongo na besale by now inga na besala abantu batampo okuqueuinga in the 21st century computer age, abantu bale queuing for Millie meal. Hell no. In the past, I remember when we were growing up, tama shops like Nyek, Mwaiseni, all these food stuff in these government stores, they were subsidized. Why did Kaunda come up with such a concept? It was to make sure that every Zambian is able to afford the basic needs, such as even the basic commodity, including the Millie meal. So for now, our political leaders, our government leaders, they should start thinking of coming up with such things. In other countries, you are going to find shops which are subsidized, where every citizen would get at least chicken, they would get at least a decent meal. So for me, our leaders should not come up with an excuse. All I'm advocating for, or all I'm saying now, can they find means and ways of making sure that every Zambian, ulikuwa misisi, kwa kanyama, adia, even the person who is selling plastics on the road, the person who is selling tomatoes should be able to afford a bag of Millie meal. In if you have fuel, that is, I can't even debate. There's some fuel, it's okay, but ubunga, ubunga te wakwangalirako. Intungulu, they should do something. Ubunga, kabunga, So there's no excuse. We vote for these leaders. We vote for our leaders to make sure that our lives are being looked after and we have decent lifestyle. So no, they are smuggling. If they are smuggling, we're supposed to put a law to close that smuggling. No, the next, we are not talking about the next harvest. By now, back to August, next harvest will be, all we know that as Zambia, we recorded bumper harvest. And after recording bumper harvest, it's a bonus as Zambian we should enjoy. We should eat chimochi nena Christmas. Christmas, no, our government, they should look into this. This milling should be subsidized. And balembe nokulemba not for sale. Control those ports where milling is going on. But all we want is every Zambian should be able to afford a bag of milling meal. I submit.
Thank you, Himba, for that submission. Now, if I may use your analogy where you said, nyumba, parent, yamba kuchosa, yamba kupasa unga, o yamba kupasa nsima kuri waneba wana wakadide kukuta. But we need to also look at what are the causes, okay? For example, they mentioned, we're hearing about the smuggling. It's like wana wamene manje wamvirati waneba kasaka kandarama kuja kawan kan kakulu wakapireka nsima bazafura Zambi. So manje wambochosa hapa nyumba kupireka kuri waneba without the father knowing. Okay? My question would be, is smuggling the only reason why the price of mealie meal has gone up, as well as we are experiencing these shortages? Please, in 1 minute, Himba, just touch on that, and then I'll also ask Mr. Chama if he got a follow-up question on your or contribution towards your submission, then followed by Mukelebai. Yes, Himba.
CJ, first and foremost, we voted for the leaders to solve our problems as Zambian. Tinava votela solving my problems, and we trusted them. That's one thing. That's the mandate they have. So if there's any smuggling going on, that's the problem they have to solve. That is none of our business as citizens. Other means they have, I strongly feel it's not only smuggling. Even when we have this commodity in our country, it's expensive. It's very expensive. So whether there are people they are smuggling or it's there in their country, it's still expensive. And as we are talking about this millie meal or the grains or the cob, whatever we can call it, nankuku zamba kufa, nankumba zamba kufa, because they all feed from here. So literally, we are where we are. It's a very delicate. So we voted for these political leaders to sort out those problems. And the last thing that we should never allow is to go where we can have the stable food. We are queuing. I'm sorry, CJ, just a minute. If my government leaders wakambatia ivana bachosa unga tibapangila unga bauchosa even in a house, but if I'm to get sugar ili mnyumba, I remember when I was growing up, if my mother bapeza tunga tu sugar tulipo wapanga zigoro twenze kubaza kututula bala kuma kutu wasenda shan sugar tu achukwa tele ine mwe tu achafu ekwa mkalile po porridge maido, you'll be in trouble. So why can't the government also start putting up measures to control that smuggling? And I strongly believe struggling is just a drop in the ocean among the causes of what is happening. And now can the minister come and tell us what is happening? Why we don't have millie meal? No Zambian should go to bed without an empty stomach. That is why we voted for these political leaders, is to look into our pride as Zambian people. We didn't vote for them to come and tell us that to inform us about the problems. We voted for them to solve our problems. I submit.
So Thank you very much, Himba. Mr. Chama.
Yes, but for me, you have to forgive me. 1 minute won't be enough, even 2 minutes. But we'll see how I'll deal with it. I've got first
Please
to
try it.
respond to Mukelebai first, because you have to respond to everyone. Mukelebai, there was a point he made. He said about all governments have had this problem of shortages. Yes, but those other governments, they had droughts. I can tell you from UNIP, yellow maize, it was drought. That's why we had shortage. Same applies in the MMD. It was drought. It wasn't anything to do with, for me, at the moment, I look at it as mismanagement. Personally, I'm not celebrating that they are messing up. I have praised the bits they've done good. Because sometimes when something is good, you have to say it's good. When something is wrong, you have to say it's wrong. So on that one, my brother, I think even 1 year, 7 months, it can't be an excuse. When you're in government, there are some things within a year they have to start showing. So 1 year, 7 months, I would say they've had 2 cycles of maize production in that period. So for me, nah, it doesn't wash. And then what did Himba? There was Himba's point now. Now let me tackle Himba now. There was Himba's point. What did she say? Can you just remind me, moderator?
Himba said the government is there to solve problems. That's why you put them there. Not to give excuses or reasons why things are happening.
Actually, to be honest with you, she's very right. And I can add on top of that, yeah, on the sacking bits, I forgot the Minister of Home Affairs. Because what is he doing? Okay, let's just be realistic. That's his job for security. So what type of security if our own food, we can't even secure our own food? Yeah. And I would like maybe one of you might have an idea. You know those millers which were buying cheap maize from the government? Was there any agreement signed that guys imwe mukapita apa mwapereka kuli bachitechi ija shop na ija shop ndiye ma outlets yanu? Is there anything? Olo ntabwera beta gula ya chipi nienda kugulisa kwa mene nifuna na mtengo wa mene nifuna? Because that's how it looks at the moment, if you ask me. Because if those guys had signed things like that, the prices for Millie wouldn't be told, okay, yes, it would be high because fuel has gone high. You know, that sometimes you have to admit certain things, yeah? But we wouldn't be buying that Millie at 180, 2, whatever, or 300. Okay, nalekera pamene apa ndamnganipishe palasta tinasavaira maningi.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chama. Mukelebai, just a minute. Are you able to respond just a minute since you have incited there?
So me, it's a minute. All right. Well, it's funny, you know, when we see people rushing in making conclusions before having found out what is the source of this problem. Why do we have expensive maize today, Millie meal in our country today? What precipitated to this today? And now we are having the so-called shortage, which I am really questioning if at all it's true there is shortage of maize meal or Millie meal in Zambia. I would love to hear this from the official point of view, to hear what they are saying over this. But otherwise, I'm afraid there's too much propaganda, and we are failing to get the right information, which the government, of course, we always point a finger at the government, which the government is failing probably to give information, accurate information to the people, which we may actually hold them accountable for, and we want them to. But what I know is that this government, it is not going to find its work so easily, because this government inherited a huge problem from the previous regime. We all know that. No matter how we may try to sugarcoat this, and I don't think this current government, in their own sixth sense, they would sit there going back to the people that voted them in, subjecting them to the so-called, these, I call them artificials, these artificial sufferings they are busy painting to the people of Zambia. Zambian people are not starving. Zambian people are not in starvation. There is no hunger in the country. On that one, I will refuse 100%. There is price. There's high prices of commodities. We know that is the problem. We know what is contributing, what contributed to that. We know how much money we are yet to pay to the owners, to the lenders. We know where we are coming from. So let us not sugarcoat. These are the effects of corruption. These are the effects of
Please conclude.
these are the effects. These are the effects of over borrowing. These are the effects of mismanagement of government resources, the people's money. And today, UPND, when they came into power, they never came with colossal sum of money to come and fix these problems immediately. They are using money from the people, our taxpayers' money. So it is unfair for us to point a finger at this government that is trying to fix this or mitigate these issues today, and calling them liars, calling them failures. Within 1 year, 7 months.
Thank you very much, Mukelebai.
Awe, tulekwata kwechinga fwe bakala chalo fwe na Zambia. We should be honest.
Thank you very much, Mukelebai.
Chiruba told us to tighten our belts. Huh?
Thank you very much, Mukelebai. Now, you know, this situation is a real situation. Even on social media, you've been seeing images and videos of people queuing up in different places, filling plants just to queue up for.
Is it the whole country? Is it the whole country, or it's within
in some parts of
just one province?
In some parts of the country, including Lusaka. There are areas where Millie meal is quite scarce. Now, I would like to just take you back a bit. Early this year, we had a Millie meal problem again. The prices went alluding to the load shedding as well as fuel, and offloaded maize through FA just to try to bring down the price, and we saw some in the price. Now, government intervened in that way. We have this situation, and largely what we are being told is that what is causing is the smuggling. Their millers are producing the commodity and selling it to retailers, and there are some people that are approaching retailers and buying off this meal and taking it out of the country. That is using illegal means. How then do you blame the government? Isn't the government trying its best? What else do you want them to do? I'll start with you, Himba.
Thank you so much, CJ. CJ, ba government vanavomeresa ati tingagulise unga outside and tingachite na import simwamene. That was a pronouncement which was made some time back. So I don't see even those those people are coming into the country or those business business people. They are not going to suffer because the government is struggling or because in Zambia we don't have enough commodity. CD Moinkanya. So the business has to go on. So this is now where we are saying the government has to come in and say, Talesa. You see what I mean? And then, second, before I go further, allow me to just respond to Comrade Mukelebai. He said, Ziba government, they are not giving information. That is not the problem for the people of Zambia. We have a person who is on full salary paid by the taxpayers' money, who is supposed to give us the information and who is supposed to be updating every day. This is the Minister of Information. So if somebody is sleeping on their job, this is not the fault of the Zambian people, Mukelebai. And I'm glad that you've accepted that somebody is not doing. Can it happen by now? We need, I remember when the MMD time, when Pajapet Konga wa Guy Scott, yellow maize, I remember I used to call it Guy Scott. When the Zambian people, are you ready to tighten up the belts? Then people would say yes, because things are like, there was that explanation. Why are we not getting that explanation? If it has been, I think maybe I haven't come across, when there's a crisis in the house or when there's a situation in the house, the father should sit down and talk to their children. So even the government should come in and explain to the Zambian people where the problem is in Kanyaunga. Secondly, in Kenya Kutiai, Tinankala, it's only 12 months, it's only 6 months in power. You can't keep on blaming the previous regime. It's us now who is in the driving seat. Simunga kamba atikwashitika accident, ati I drive enzo motoka sometime back, isenzo ipeleka ku service. But what about this time you've been? Why didn't you service it and put it in the right condition? By now, yes, we keep referring to the past regime, but let's start putting things straight. And let us start taking the blame. The current leadership. We are not going to be giving the blame to the previous everything. Bamuna vanhu vezoonekana doti lero sivana vale bwino ati ni va ex-wife ndiye vesi vana washe bwino benzoika malondo pambali so nikati struggle nikakaya no. It's you in the driving seat. Can you put things straight? And no matter what it takes, Ubunga, Kanyawunga is stable food. Everyone should access it. Every Zambian. Nindanda, ashtisha tomato, ashtisha ama plastics, ashtisha mbalala. Every Zambian should be able to access a bag of Millie meal. The bag of Millie meal has been very high. Ya abantu bale shupiko kushita, tule shupiko kushita. Right now, yale kera tunoonekera. Abo masmugglers, nangape wenze unadula last at the beginning of the year. Where they're smuggling. There are other reasons which we know and we understand that have caused this shortage, and the government should come in and rectify the situation as soon as possible before we start losing lives. Apparently, this shortage of milling is going to have a great impact on our country. As I said, bambo feed yankuku ya soba, nkumba za so vilibe vokudia, and other living livestock. So which means it's a situation that need to be arrested as soon as possible. I submit.
Thank you very much, Himba. Government has issued an SI allowing the importation and waiving off some taxes there. Then again, Mr. Chama alluded to the fact that he would recommend the agriculture minister to be fired, especially on the statement which he issued in parliament, where he said government will continue exporting. Okay. Now, and his statement that there was enough maize stock in Zambia. Their argument is that there are enough stocks. If the export is controlled, this shortage won't be there. But because the export is not being controlled, we have maize that is seeping through. Why should the campaign be shifted towards having people fired from their positions?
Who should have who has the mandate to
Mr.
control?
Chama, I'll allow you to.
Let's make one thing clear. Before I answer you,
Yes.
I'll ask you a question.
Mhm.
It's just you maybe a 10 seconds answer from you. Since this current government has been in power, have there been any reshuffle?
No, there hasn't.
Thank you. That's why they have to be fired. They're too comfortable. They're doing nothing. Actually, Madam Himba even added one more, the Minister of Information. What does she do? What's her job? Only to take people around the ZNBC offices that we've built this, we are opening this. That's what she does. And read statements. No, let's be serious. As Himba said earlier, you know, when you're in government, there's so long where you can just be saying so manje because 1 year 7 months, that's big. You have to the first 6 months, yes, it was washing, because even myself I used to say now they have to be telling us what we are doing about it. Not every time we are PF. You know. What's her name? She's standing. Kindly in Zambia, it looks like when you go to prison. When you go to prison, you can become a president of Zambia. That's how it looks these days. So the PF wameneze kumjere now. So era ndibaba pempero. Nambe. Adwarabo pempera. Anyway, jokes aside, to be honest with you, I think the buck stops with the president. The president has to do something what his ministers and whoever is advising him, it's either he shows them the door and bring in people who are going to do the job. It doesn't matter whether you come from the same village, as long as somebody is fit to do the job. Because for me, it looks like the president is more scared to choose people, just 1 second, to choose people who can do a job because we are from the same village. That's how I look at it. You know, for me, I feel the president should appoint people who can do the job, not just because that's why things are looking haywire at the moment. And I'll leave it there because I'm still talking.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Before Himba comes in this one, I can see she's really itching to come in. I'm going to allow Mukelebai. Mukelebai, the government has an SI allowing importation just to try to help with this situation. Do you feel the government is doing enough?
The government is doing everything within its power to fix or to mitigate these challenges. But the government is also busy struggling because there are people out there who are trying to bring the government down. Despite all the efforts this government is making and the news that is going out there to the people, it's something that is damaging, that is not building. The government is doing everything within their powers. They are working. But what is this picture that we are being portrayed, we are being told, we are being shown. You know, it's something different, and people are believing all these lies. The thing is, the effects of, like I told you people, that even this, the effect of in smuggling, we will see that there will be shortages of maize meal in the country. You know, the effects of over exporting, there will be, the consequences are that there will be shortage if we don't have any production. We don't have enough in stock. So this is just a chain, and it goes back. Me, I still go back to what this government inherited. The effects, these are the effects. There has been a lot of, Zambians, we are still going to suffer in terms of the effects of corruption, the effects of safety, mismanagement. We are going to feel them. They're going to stand a test of time for us to fix these problems. What we are currently going through right now, this is not the doing of the UPND government. Bufyubo, this is from the previous regime, from what we experienced. Now we are receiving the dividends, the sufferings, the effects. It's today and tomorrow.
Mukelebai, I'm giving you exactly 1 minute. 1 minute, then you put your submission. Thank you. Go ahead.
So this current government is trying. This current government came in not to start solving their own problems, coming up with their own programs. They are trying to kill one bird with one bird with two stones. These guys. One, on the other hand, they are busy fixing the economy. On the other hand, they have to fulfill the demands of the people and to follow their manifesto. So it is not going to be an easy way. Like we are busy purporting, because right now we are not being fair as Zambian, as a country. Yes, issues are there. The government is just they have just been found in a situation where they are more like cornered. They are having two problems: the previous regime problems and their own current problems. So we are in for it, Zambians. We are going to be in for it. And nobody has paid the debt yet. Nobody has paid the debt yet. How are we going to pay the back?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your submissions, Mukelebai. Himba, before you come in, isn't this maize situation a regional thing? Because demand ya Angola bafuna unga, Malawi bafuna unga, Congo kuchadida bafuna unga, and Zambia seems source. Okay, and if business people are taking advantage, they are using other methods that are not within the law. I mean, with your submission.
Thank you so much, CJ. Much do I appreciate the efforts of the government. We appreciate what they are doing. But ngatika mbankani ya unga, CJ, pamala, it's something that we should not take lightly. And no matter, even in the house, no matter how bad things are in your house, you should be able at least to provide the basic needs of your children. I sit here talking to my leaders out there that we are happy with the job they are doing, but with the issue of the Millie meal, can they do something about it? And this is a situation that is supposed to be solved like yesterday. But no, kulinkongole, kulinshi. I think it would be, for me, it's a bit irresponsible for us to be saying, because in Nkongole tikazifa njala. No. Nizo Nkongole, we should find another ways of solving it. Vina, wanacho sako ma subsidies kuchani, kuma fuel. Wanacho sako, so this, me, I still insist, let us subsidize the basic needs. Unga, sugar, salad, Those things, let us be subsidized such that every Zambian is able to afford. Vanachosa kufuel, which is great because and for me, okay, in other places or in other families, a car is a need. But for me, I'd even say in other places, it's still a luxury. People can live without a car. But somebody can't live without millimil in the house. You can't. It's not possible. We are telling people to starve. About initially a nation to be health, they should be able to afford the basic needs. Bakambati kupunzira na chakudya ni vintu hapana kupunzira kubwelako second priority. To me, education is the second priority. Food number one. Nga muntu sanatie kaungolo mumupase masaa mumuklasi saa za pasa. Olo muike adwala maredi mumupase chloroquine saa za pola. Kaunga keve can they subsidize? I rest my case.
Thank you very much, Himba. Manje iyamina kwamba subsidize ndalama zizaka kuti muli na ngole imwe bantu mungakaya
nanga zafiwe CJ zafiwe zinaenda kuti
10 days amene zili ku education manje.
No, but I mean all over balipirire baja bazambo nkala bwanji mu class nanja free education mwana gona manirisa nadia sapa 6 hours angena mu class. It's not serving any purpose. A child aenda mu class afunika jako ka porridge. You know unga imodi out purpose. Olo munibe sugar unga mzapika ka porridge kasoti mwana adia. You know? Munga pange na vitumbua va unga. Tutobo mutwe. There are a lot of things. Unga so sobele lako ibu. Can our leaders do something about it? Kapita kade. Mwana sova na mathematics basi mtini sova.
Comrade Chama, what do you think should be done? What practical things should the government put in place so that this situation is arrested under control?
Well, to be honest with you, personally, the first thing is the people who are heading those departments, which are in charge of our food security, they're not doing well. They need to find other people to head those departments. That's the start, because they went to the president and told the president that if you are ni plenty boss, ni plenty. Bonse tu alali okwikuta.
Bumper harvest.
Nga turefu akutwambala kulachita export bakamba. Bamala kuchita export. Meanwhile, okay, in terms of prices going high, I understand there are other economic things which are happening. It's not just happening in Zambia. Let's just be realistic. But education, you found money for education. Not each and every household is educating anybody. There are some people tabako atapo no mwana, but they will still need to eat. You know, everybody needs to eat. It doesn't matter who you are. You know, school, there are some people, they can have a private tutor coming to the house. They don't need to go to the school here and when. So for me, yes, it's nice they did the free education. Don't get me wrong. I'm not free education. But they point of something which everyone needs. It doesn't matter who you are. The 5 fingers, you need it. And then that's the thing you are playing with. That's the thing which made the former late President Kaunda riots. It was that. Mwambalu Chembeku, it was that. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just trying to say that if you play with Millie, you are opening a box which you won't manage. I'll leave it there.
Kaunga. Thank you very much, Pesi. Kaunga nsima. Also sovedera padapa muntu.
No. Not to be like.
Mukelebai, Mukelebai, what
Yes,
do you
please.
think should be the practical steps and things that will help keep this problem? Should the export of maize be completely stopped? Would that help the situation? What do you think?
Thank you so much. If we have enough stocks that we need to get rid of, then I don't see any reason why, because we're gonna get money out of it and maybe pay the farmers or or use the money to produce more fertilizer for the next season. But at the same time, but if we have a lower stock in our FRA baskets, then I believe the government, they're not that foolish. They can't allow exporting of the commodity, the commodity that is not in stock and available in our country. I don't think they can do that. But the government, they know what they're doing. And I believe that the question is also is how long was this, how long has this shortage, Millie meal crisis been in Zambia? Has it been there for months, or it's just these few weeks that has happened? And listen to the cry and look at the people, the way they are making it as if something has been there for years. We always find solutions, and definitely the government has a plan in place. My advice to the Zambian people is, we know we have the fertile land. Let us utilize our lands. And also when we have farms, grow our own maize. I believe we'll be able to even avoid buying this maize that we are buying, this Millie meal we are buying today at a very high cost if we have our own farms. Because I remember myself and my father, when he retired, we went to Kaoma and had a farm. I have the farm there, and grew maize. We had so many bags of, I harvested so many. We sold some, we left some, and I don't remember the last time my dad and the family went to the shop to buy breakfast or Aurora meal. We used to have our own. So Zambians, it is not difficult pakubwera kumushi mwayalimako. Mwayalima, so that you have your own farm, you have your own mbonyi, millis in your backyard, so that you cannot allow this suffrage depending on government. You won't. So the government is trying. The government is trying, but they cannot manage to give everyone uvunga for free. That uvunga needs to be paid for. Nombe ndalama takuli because bali puishe ndalama ba PF.
I'm going to my bedroom.
Thank you very much, Mukelebai. Thank you very much. Himba, the exporting of maize. Government has said anyone to export maize, they should get clearance from ZRA, clearance from Ministry of Agriculture, clearance from DN, from Zambia Police, just to try to arrest the situation. Do you think the export will solve this problem? What do you think should be done?
Thank you so much, CJ. First and foremost, I should recommend the government, that I should actually congratulate the government on that move. That is bravo and well done, because that move, it may not eradicate the problem, but it will minimize. Somehow there will be a bit of some percentage to control, and which will help to at least for us to have enough maize. But there are other measures, because I strongly feel it's not only the smuggling of Millie meal that is causing this shortage. No, there are other means, and I'm sure the government has already identified. And I'm glad that they've gone that way, That is a very good move. CJ, before I go any further, I would want also to respond to Mukelebai. Mukelebai says, for how long has this shortage of Millie meal been there in our country? I would also want to ask a question. For how long can a person survive on an empty stomach?
But there's no hunger in the country, please. That's the mistake people are making. You
No,
think there's no
Comrade
hunger.
Mukelebai, the question is, for how long can a person stay on an empty stomach?
For how long?
Yeah.
That depends. You can stay for the whole day if you want.
Thank you.
But you can eat. If there are other options that you can eat. That's why you find other politicians, naughty politicians that are sarcastic. They would simply answer in a very sarcastic way, Kabien, why don't you try rice? Why don't you try fiumbu? Why don't you try other things?
That's why.
You can't get dependent. So there are so many ways. There's so many ways. But in Zambia, my sister, there is no hunger. There is no hunger. Ngatakuli Bwalya. It does not mean that there is hunger in a country. Bufyo.
Okay, thank you so much,
very
Comrade.
much, Himba.
Thank you so much, Comrade Mukelebai. Basically,
there's shortage of Millie meal. If there's shortage of Millie meal, let's talk about what is causing the shortage of Millie meal. That's all. And then fix that. And this will be a thing of the past. It will be a thing of the past. I promise you. Today, we don't even talk about load shedding. Why? We fixed it. This issue, it will be fixed. And we'll forget about it. Come tomorrow, we will see what will happen.
Thank you very much. We'll give you your time to make your concluding remarks right about now. Let me just allow Himba in 30 seconds, just conclude your thought. Then we'll go to the concluding phase. Yes, Himba, conclude.
Thank you so much, Mukelebai, for that response. And basically, I feel it's really, for me, Millie meal is a staple food in our country, which should be easily accessible, which should be very easy for every person. Why do I say so? Whether we like it or not, in each and every country, there are people we call underprivileged. Even karyakatin karai state bakwanishe. Even karyakatin kwali babantu abashikwanisha badia pali limbi bapimisha ka pamela ka saladi bapimisha ka pamela ka bunga ka pamela. If the now people such population they fail to access those, I think for me I would stand up and speak to our leaders how to get rid of this problem. The same method which the government has done, the clearance, it's a way to go. Secondly, the government, they should subsidize. If anything, can we have the Maisian shops to come back, the NIEC to come back, for the underprivileged people to be able to access pantungana tukwata NIEC ama Maisian yaratwe kwetakale ingo bubunga ngabuleshtishu ama government shops, so they would have been proper control.
Thank you very much, Himba. You've exceeded the 30 seconds. Okay. So now we are in the concluding phase. We are now in the concluding phase. Mr. Chairman, I want you to give your concluding remarks. Whilst you're doing that, I also want to touch on what has been happening, whereby the business-minded people have seen an opportunity, and then they are this in bulk, storing up, so but now these have become suspects for smuggling, and it has become more of a vicious cycle somehow. Is it fair that those that are buying in bulk should be victimized? We've also restriction in shops whereby in stores where they are only allowing a person to buy a bag, no buying more than 2 bags. Is this situation really fair? This is a business opportunity. As well as I've heard sentiments where people are saying, let the people in the culture take advantage of this, do maize agriculture more, so that they make money. There's great demand for this. My conclusion.
Okay, but first I'll start on a bit whereby I read somewhere where it said people should start using sorghum and cassava. There was somewhere I read that. Yeah, but coming to what you are saying, let's be realistic. Okay, first I'll look at it on a business point of view. The standard of living at the moment in Zambia has become so high. Yeah, so everyone, and how many people are employed? Everyone does business. You know, so at the moment, the business which is in fashion is Millie. Because if I can buy a sack of maize in Zambia for 200 kwacha, I take it to DRC, I get 550. Come on, guys, let's be realistic. If you have a chance to double your money, you do it. No, I'm just being realistic here. You do it.
Yeah, why not? Yes, you do it.
Okay, now coming to the actual thing, as Himba alluded earlier, in terms of securing our things, our borders, and because you have to remember, the government signed we have to be exporting as well, whilst importing. So I don't know which one is which at the moment, to be honest with you. But there will be people still exporting. You understand? For me, I would advocate for that export to stop. Because when you stop the export, because there are some of these big people who they've got export licenses and all that, and they've got a milling company. Come on, you mean I can just take my own maize na gaya na peleka ku Malawi na ungene sasa ku Malawi na import muzani shushira part? Or I can have my friend who owns a milling in Malawi. I take my maize there and gaira na mulipira na bweresa import muzani shushira part. In each and everything there are loopholes. The easiest thing to do is stop the exportation of Millie meal and concentrate on trying to build up all the shops which are supposed to be selling the things. Because right now, because even those millers which the maize was bought for free, they are also exporting because they didn't sign anywhere to tie them to just sell within. Unless somebody has got information on that, you can correct me. I'll leave it there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chama. I'll allow Mukelebai to make his concluding submissions before I conclude with Himba. Mukelebai, your concluding submissions, and your time starts now.
Stopping people from running their businesses or doing businesses, it goes against the so-called liberalization of our economy. We are the people that have been talking of liberalizing our economy. What does that mean? Does the government have control? Do we have to have a government that is going to dictate in every business that we undertake as private individuals? If that is happening, then we are not a democratic republic. Then we are bringing in the issues to do with the dictatorship, isn't it? I'm telling you, people will start crying again if the government decides to put up.
Timekeeper, can you just stop the clock from Mukelebai? I would like to respond to something. Just hold the time
okay,
for him. I just want to answer him so that because for me, I want to correct him. Even here in Europe, there are some times whereby they will say this thing won't be exported. It's only for this country.
Okay,
for this time so that we build up ourselves. So you saying that what you're saying, it's wrong. I'll leave it there.
Mukelebai, please, you can continue with your conclusion.
No, I didn't get what the gentleman was saying. But the thing is, like I was saying, that we are in a liberalized economy. And probably that's why you see many people now have decided to run this business on their own, have decided to start exporting the maize meal. And now when the government decide to put up these stringes to cut, and then they start using other means. So I know that the government is trying by all means to fix this problem, but it will come to an end. It will be very, very soon. Yes, I agree with everyone's sentiment. We need a government that is transparent. We need a government that is result-oriented. But so far, this government has shown. I'm not praising them because I like them. I'm praising them because I have seen the potential. I have seen what they have done. I have seen that they've fixed most of the problems that are coming into that are mushrooming in our country. This government comes up with solutions, and the solutions are transparent, and people are even appreciating. They fix those problems as they come. But maybe we should be concerned to say, should we be waiting for a problem to mushroom for the government to act? Those are the issues that we should now ask. What are the permanent solutions that we are going to have as a country? Because as a government, we only see them acting when there is a problem. And I know the reason why they have this type of governance. It's because I will still go back. It's because, when the economy is limping, you don't know. There are a lot of symptoms coming out as a result of the mismanagement. So a lot of symptoms, they can come. Sometimes wasangwa ichilonda, wakwate chipute pampuno, wakwate chipute everywhere. It comes, it does not announce. But this government is busy fixing those problems as they appear. But we don't want that. We want prevention. Prevention is better than what? Cure. How do we prevent our government from these problems from coming back again? This government that's why they've come in with this approach of let's fix what really caused, what was causing all these problems to happen. Zero corruption. Let's fight corruption. Let's be transparent. So they are trying. They've only been in office. That is where my bone of contention is. They've only been in office for 1 year, 7 months. They are trying so far. What they have done, it's something that we can simply say, wow. And Zambians should be really be appreciative.
Thank you.
Tule
Thank you very much.
Tule tasha. Mule tasha mwevena Zambia. Mule
Thank you
tasha.
very much, Mukelebai. Thank you very much, Mukelebai. Let me just read a comment. Let me welcome Comrade Frank Zimba. Good evening and welcome to Ubuntu channel. Late entry.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the late entry. We had some other commitments. On the Copper Belt, we have a by-election in Chilawombwe. So we are busy campaigning here for one of our councillors that passed on, a woman councillor who was a deputy mayor. So there's a by-election in Chilawombwe. So to Achwanama ministers in Abashara, trying to see things here and there.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Frankie, campaign. Over to you, CJ.
Okay, thank you very much. Right about now, let me just read a comment. There's a comment from Edward Banda. Atunga chabe awe. Okay. And, this message is from Nondo. He said, maybe just because allowed something to happen to my gadget, Mukelebai would have been so offended with me for supporting and trying to justify the nonsense of his government as regards to the shortage of unga. My brother, stop fooling the people just because you hate PF. It's a common sense that UPND, the officials are exporting maize for their own benefit, and you want to blame, okay, PF, Comrade Nondo. It's unfortunate that Comrade Nondo had the challenge with his gadget. It would have really been good to have those submissions made in person.
He claims.
Okay.
He claims. Should I just reiterate to
that? No, that's a message. So now we are in the concluding. We are in the concluding phase. What I'll do is this Himba. I'll allow you to finish up, but for now, let me give Comrade Zimba 5 minutes. So, Comrade Zimba,
All right.
you have to
thank you so much. Thank you so
in
much.
there.
No problem, no problem. Now, I want us to be very categorical when it comes to issues to do with Millie. Apata tufwetu apita na mumbali. Ili ashirifie straight, ngefi alandabata tawa membe, muntu wa kupita pakati, na ukumpita pakati. Ichachiwe mbachimbisha chubonfyo mwashawe na membe okutibafulwa, bafredi mmembe. Eba ishibabu no chachiwe mba. Now, tufwetu achita understand. When we talk of Millie Meal, we are saying we want Zambia to be a production aspect of a food basket. Now, from time immemorial, Zambia has never stopped producing maize. And Congo ngefine tule onfwa ifyalo fimbinga bambia babana Congo nabasharuka abengi they don't do farming tabali mange fiturima. Yet even when tabali ma, the truth be told that Zambia is a food basket in the southern region. Now, the question that I ask abantu bonse, tatwa kwete shortage ya bunga, tatwa kwata shortage ya bunga, but why all of the sudden, why for some Copper Belt, Kitwe, Chingola, Chidawombwe, Nakuma Solwezi, I am a bordering towns that are kuma kuli Congo, ere kwata shortage. Why are we not seeing Millie Meal shortage in Livingstone? Why are we not seeing Millie Meal shortage Kujoma? Why are we not seeing Millie Meal shortage in Chinsari? Why should there only be Millie Meal shortage around Copper Belt? All towns are at the border between Congo and Zambia. But we should be very sensitive. I'm not blaming by PF, I'm not blaming anyone, but I'm blaming us reckless Zambians. We have Zambians that want to sabotage this economy with selfish and greedy interests. Why? The question I asked some individuals, if what you are saying, Zambians, they are businessmen, there's no law that bars somebody buying Millie Meal in bulk. But when you start exporting, becomes a problem. Now, the question that I asked everyone, not Kwatama companies like Olympic, but Jamas, but Antelope, Nishi bena ba Antelope wabenenga bagayo bunga tabatwalira direct to Congo. If it is an independent business, ba Jamas shamfwa pa na bagayo bunga batwala Congo. The truth be told this, The only problem they would have if ngabatwere obunga direct ku Congo is for one simple reason. They've entered into an agreement with the Zambian government by FRA so that when they give them maize, which is already subsidized as millers, as millers, already subsidized. Number, if government has subsidized amataba, erobasa umfati, bamira babula amataba, after bagaya, bashitisha kumbi mulandu. It becomes a crime. Now, what they are doing is this. Walaikala, walasango muntu naikala finondelanda, baisa ba businessman balaku abakwete kwa machange mma town. Yesunga makopa belt na kumasolwezi. Ero babula bapela inene businessman. Can you strike a business deal? Ushitobunga kuri ba antelope. Ba antelope na munafe track na isa ile itila ubunga pa shop. Ero nomba na eba chao as an individual therefore kushitafia ubunga chobunga na bupwa. But nimbo na track ile chao flood ubunga. Ngo ubunga bwa isa. Waba nani? These are questions Zambians should have. Because techitumone omuntu ubunga na buisa lero. Bale South Road bantro but why batawako etobunga. Kuchimono kunde batibana yo wali panganda na isa panganda pali moba Himba nangwa CJ. Ero lira nomba ubunga mwana yo wali demo namule pakela nomna no mwa batao tatuko etobwali. Can that make sense? This is what these people are doing. Wasanga trakere South Road ubunga pantro polo bako watao ubunga tatukwete. That is abnormality. Confusion, total chaos. Number, if natapari ubunga ubunga mleta South Road wabanani. So there are a few Zambian, greedy Zambians, aba wulire, balashita buli ubunga. Bachita baumfu nama manager yakuma antelope, baumfu nama manager yakuma jambo, baumfu nama manager yakuma ku Olympic. Ero bachita ubunga, bonse. Burobunga bare twala is not because they've got an export permit. Wa smuggling. Because now at Congo market na iboboka. This is where we have a problem. So now what we need to do as a government, or for me, what I'm expecting is that the government should put strict or stringent measures. Ya kuresha ba smuggler ngabansanga ne smuggler. Better na ikala munango a good 10 minutes nangwa enchelefe nango even 4-5 months ndinchikala mchifungo ninjishwa ndishire mushita yakusharikisha akashita kandi nakapwa but lorekeni nshefi mukukulisha basije. We should be aware with the sources of information that I have. I've been going around na mwine ture campaign na monse ture pitana mkuishi wachinshchirerenga. I'll be telling you the honest truth. We have individuals that are selling maize outside Zambia in bulk, but valelanda ni saufa, tavalelanda tubunga. So some of them are well-known factors.
Those the people Nondo is purporting to be UPND officials.
Bambini ba PF fyo twaishiba.
Thank you very much.
Nama company tasmago bunga in the name of Saufa. Me, I do to my due diligence to start my investigation. In Nama company, I can when I verify by tomorrow, I'll be able to produce that info and give it to the public.
That would be nice.
Thank you very much. Himba, the only lady in the house, please make your concluding submissions.
Point of correction, CJ. You are supposed to say the only beautiful lady in the house. Yes, you continue, please.
Thank you.
That's my God-given.
You know. Thank you so much, Frank, for that compliment, and thank you so much for that inside information you've given us. In my concluding remarks, I'm going to say insala taya ishvat wa PF wa UPND ngayalo pola bonse elo insala taisala you know. So personally, I don't want to say they are PF, they are UPND. All I'm comfortable is that they are all Zambians, and they are putting the Zambian people in an awkward position. And whatever, no matter how we are going to explain, they blame me, I'll still blame it on our government leaders at the moment, because we have the mandate to put strict measures. Apainga balefwa wafuilefe okulanda fati tapali ufuile ukupisha obunga nama measures babikapa. This is the way to go. So whichever way we are going to, the mandate or the onus is on the government. Ukweba ati umuntu mwina Zambia insala imwipaya, whether PF, whether UNIP, whether MMD, whether UNIP, whether nwa kuisa insala ila kola bonse. Insala tayako atomchinshinga ya kukola. You know. So for me, I'm saying whoever is doing the smuggling.
Inzi marembe alilila pansala.
So insala te kapondo insala. You know. So what I'm trying to say is the government leaders, can they put strict measures that the Uwunga tukwati every Zambian should be able to access a bag of Millie meal. Elo if you akush t-shirt awe, ila fika like apa fidi nomba, na ibi pamchalo. Can we just say no exporting Millie meal for now until tuamona tuaba stable, elo tuatampa futi for now? Can they close all the borders? Uwunga wila fuma. And they can also look for all those other leakages we have and close them for now. Fida tuchita kumunshi. Ingachi bucket damage chatulika tulabika plastics monse ekeba damage to atapa. So this is what the government is supposed to do. Above all, may the Minister of Information come out, start communicating to every day. Start talking to us frequently. The mandate is on them. So if you have done that, nima UPND, nima PF, wonse if you have na Zambia, trechita smago hunga. Elo insala ile kola wonse. Taya kashe kwa tuwa UPND wa PF, wonse katukola. I rest my case.
Thank you. Thank you, panelists, for your submissions. This is Let's Talk Politics. It comes every Tuesday, 3 hours, right here on Ubuntu channel. Viewers, we thank you for being part of tonight's broadcast. Please make sure you follow our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. Just search for Ubuntu channel and be sure to click the like and the follow button on our social media platform. I want the late entry that is Zimba, Comrade Nondo, who dropped Comrade Himba and Mukelebai for those great and wonderful sessions we've had tonight. From everyone here, we say thank you. And I want to thank our director who has been Emmanuel Nkunika. We say thank you, have a lovely evening, and make a date for our next broadcast next. Good night.